Hello, everybody, and welcome to class. This is Mr. Pigeon, and I am going to go over some of today's English lessons for English 6. So please pay attention. I'm going to jump right in. First thing that we're going to do is take a look at a news story. Let's jump right in. This is going to be related to what we're learning about, so it is relevant. Here we go.
A surprise ending to an American tragedy. With the nation still reeling from 2 mass shootings in the last month, we learned the fate and heard the words of the man who opened fire at a Safeway in Tucson nearly 2 years ago. Jared Loughner killed 6, wounded 13, including Congresswoman Gabby Giffords. Today, he pled guilty. That means he won't get the death penalty, but will go to prison for life. Gabby Giffords is weighing in on the decision, and we are learning for the first time how Loughner wept for one of his victims and wanted to be executed. ABC's Dan Harris leads us off.
We all remember that disturbing mugshot, the twisted grin, the beaming eyes, and those YouTube videos, the burning of the American flag, and that rambling tour of the college from which Jared Lee Loughner dropped out.
This is my genocide school.
In court today, the judge said Loughner is now a different man after months of being forcibly medicated for schizophrenia. During much of the hearing, Loughner listened calmly and without expression. His court-appointed psychologist testified that soon after Loughner started taking his meds, he understood what he did, even crying when he heard that he'd killed Christina Taylor Greene. At one point, the judge asked him if he understood the charges against him. "Yes, I understand," said Loughner. His guilty plea means life in prison without parole. It also means no death penalty. Other infamous murderers have cut similar deals, including the Unabomber and Eric Rudolph, who bombed abortion clinics and Atlanta's Olympic Park. Many of Loughner's victims from that awful January day when he shot up a Meet Your Congresswoman event featuring Gabby Giffords supported today's outcome, including Giffords herself and her husband, Mark Kelly. In a statement today, Kelly wrote, "Gabby and I are satisfied with this plea agreement. Avoiding a trial will allow us to continue with our recovery and move forward with our lives." In that exclusive first interview, Diane Sawyer asked the couple about Loughner, and they both said that they had seen this picture.
It was obvious that he had serious mental issues. If he would have received some treatment, this probably would not have happened.
Do you ever get angry at what happened to you?
No. Life.
That is an extraordinary statement. Also in court today, the psychologist said that once Loughner began to understand his crimes, he wanted to be executed. Loughner's mother was in the courtroom as well, reportedly weeping quietly in the corner, George.
And the feds really wanted this deal so they could spare the victims' families from going through this all over again.
That's exactly right. Many of the families agreed with that.
Okay, Dan Harris, thanks very much.
These are serious issues. This is a serious issue in our country. And to pretend that it's not a serious issue, I don't know what to say. This happened, honestly, almost 10 years ago. Almost 10 years ago. And now, still today, we're still talking about this issue as well. So it's a relevant issue. So for that reason, and I know I have discussed some information about this before, but for that reason, we continue to talk about it. It's an important topic of discussion. And so this is why I sent you this packet right here. See it? Or over there. Sorry. There it is. Facts and expert opinion. Let's take a look at it together and go through it real quick. We've already went through a video right now talking about this issue. On January 8th, Jared Loughner shot State Representative Gabriella Giffords in the forehead at near-point blank range, then released a spray of bullets that killed 6 and wounded 12 others. Murder. That's where we got that opinion from. That's where we got the facts from. So that seems to me to be a fact, right? Now let's keep going. Loughner was tackled and held down by bystanders once he stopped to reload. That is a fact. The gun Loeffler used was a Glock 19 loaded with a 33 round high capacity magazine. That is a fact that we got from Mad Magazine Under Fire. According to Kristen Rand, legislative director of Gun Control Advocacy Group Violence Policy Center, high capacity magazines were involved in virtually every mass shooting in U.S. And that is a fact. So all I'm talking about right now is facts and expert opinion. But right now, these are facts, right? So let's keep looking a little bit further down. Those are my sources that I had. You have this information, but there's the prompt. Considering the fact that Loeffler was subdued once he stopped to reload. Let's say that again. Considering the fact that Loeffler was subdued once he was stopped to reload, it is possible that less people would have been killed and wounded during the January 8th shooting in Tucson if he was not using an extended magazine, which he did. If Kristen Rand is correct, then it is possible that many lives could have been saved if extended magazines had been banned or restricted a long time ago. So let's go back to this. All right. When we were talking about this was, when I quoted her though, was a fact. But what I'm talking about down here is opinion. If Kristen Rand is correct, then it is possible that many lives could have been saved if extended magazines had been banned or restricted a long time ago. Now, however you feel about this issue, I'm not concerned with, and I'm not trying to be insensitive. I'm just pointing something out. Kristen Rand's point is an opinion. And I want to make it clear. I'm not talking about my own opinion. I'm not talking about if I support Kristen Rand's opinion or if I support someone else's opinion. I'm just talking about what an opinion is. Eventually, you're going to have to make your own opinions, and I want you to understand what one is, because really an opinion is a stance on an issue. So taking a stance on an issue is kind of what the whole point to what I sent home is all about, or what the school did as well. Way to go, Southwest leadership. Woo! Number one, Rams. Let's go. Should high-capacity magazines be regulated or outlawed now? Or are there greater issues at stake here? Closely read and analyze the language of the Second Amendment of the United States Constitution and its use to support an argument that addresses this critical issue. Here's the amendment. A well-regulated militia. Now, when we look at that word militia, we have to understand that it looks very similar to the word military. And that's because a militia is very similar to a military. The difference is it's a group of people that kind of create one on their own. It's not an organization that you go to be a part of that military supported by the government. The reason being is within the language. Let's read. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the Secretary of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Infringed is when somebody infringes on a situation, meaning they intervene in the situation negatively, usually. The assignment for this one is to write a pie paragraph that addresses the prompt. You'll need to develop a point, which I talked about before, that opinion, your point, that takes a stance on whether or not high capacity magazines should be regulated or outlawed. I'm going to give you a hint. There has been some developments on this, all right? So You might need to look that up, and you might have an opinion or point on that as well. That is further research for anyone interested, but I'm not requiring it. You can use just what I've sent just to make it easier if you don't have access to other information. Write a paragraph that addresses the prompt above. You will need to develop a point that takes a stance on whether or not high-capacity magazines should be regulated or outlawed. For your illustration, that's the I in pi, you will then need to cite the language of the Second Amendment. So I need something from the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment, which I sent twice because twice is twice as nice. Then explain, right? Kind of like AQE, right? Explain how it supports your stance, right? The rest, you'll synthesize information, including facts presented earlier, right? From the videos or right there. Those are the facts. Go with that. You can use those. You don't have to come up with your own. You can use my quotes directly, all right? And I'll show you exactly where you can get them. That's the Works Cited page, so you can use those. So here's the reading. And finally, this part, we're going to go over tomorrow. So for now, I'm going to stop right there. And I just wanted to go over the facts and expert opinion, as well as what the prompt is all about. I'm sorry for scrolling up and down and all around. That's how I do it sometimes. So I'll see you back here in my next video. You have a good day.